Today, we're diving into a really beautiful, poignant story about what it means to exist. It's this wonderful allegorical tale about perfection, flaws, and, just finding your place in the world. And it all starts with a very simple but incredibly profound question.
So what happens? What happens when a little flaw appears in a world that was designed to be absolutely flawless? That's the core question here, and it really sets the stage for a journey of self-discovery and, ultimately, a kind of defiance.
Okay, so our story kicks off here, in a world that was meticulously, painstakingly crafted by its creator to be perfect. Absolutely perfect. I want you to picture this, a space of just pure white light. You've got these flawless walls that stretch on forever, so perfect that not even a shadow can exist. It's a world of sterile, cold, and totally silent order. And then, right there, in this perfect facade, a tiny little crack appears, and from it, something small and imperfect emerges. It's a simple square, but its very existence, well, it disrupts the entire system. And this is the very first thought that pops into its head. It looks around at all the still, silent perfection, and then it looks at itself and sees something totally different. Its edges are a little rough, its surface is faintly scarred, and it trembles. In a world of absolute stillness, its very nature is a question mark.
Now, that initial question, why am I different? It doesn't just fade away. Nope. It actually sparks a journey, a literal and metaphorical climb to find some answers.
This slide just lays it out so well. The square's journey is this relentless, difficult cycle. It tries to climb these impossible walls, it falls, it breaks into pieces, but every single time, it puts itself back together to keep going. And with every step, it leaves a little mark, a tiny flaw in those perfect white walls that's also proof that it was there, proof of its existence. So as this climb just goes on and on, that initial curiosity starts to morph into a deep existential doubt. Surrounded by this endless, imposing perfection, the square starts to question its very right to be. And that's the heart of its conflict, right? This feeling of being an error in an otherwise flawless system. And all this struggle, it leads us right to the story's climax. After this long journey, the square finally reaches a door that leads to the architect of this world, its creator. Just imagine this moment for a second. After everything it's been through, the creator's first words aren't welcoming, they aren't curious, they're just a cold, heavy question that echoes in the silence. It's not a question that's really looking for an answer, it's one that immediately creates this vast distance between the creator and this tiny, imperfect creation.
And the judgment is just bam, swift, absolute. There's no discussion, no attempt to understand. The creator sees the square not as a life, but as an error, a crack that threatens the integrity of its perfect world. The square's whole existence is just deemed a mistake. And with these final, thundering words, the world itself begins to shatter. With just a flick of the creator's hand, the perfect walls start to collapse. The square, absolutely terrified, has no choice but to flee from the one being it thought might have answers. The creator has become the destroyer.
But, escaping that collapsing world isn't the end. Not at all. It's actually a brand new beginning. The whole tone of the story shifts dramatically here, from judgment and fear to discovery and wonder.
So the square tumbles out into a completely different reality. Instead of those endless white walls, it finds a sky. Instead of that dead silence, it hears the sound of rain. And most importantly, instead of that cold, sterile order, it feels this strange, unfamiliar warmth.
And this is the real turning point for our little square. It holds out its hand to feel the cold raindrops, and it has this profound realization. This new world isn't perfect, right? It's messy and unpredictable, but it's also beautiful. It finds warmth and life, not in flawlessness, but in the very fabric of imperfection itself.
So with this whole new understanding, this new perspective, the square's journey comes full circle. It's heading back to where it all began. The square eventually finds itself back in that white world, the place where it was born. And the walls are still there, the space looks the same, but everything is different because the square itself has changed. It finally gets it. Even that perfect world was imperfect simply because it was born there. And now it can finally take a step forward.
It's no longer questioning its right to exist. It's embracing its own imperfect nature as it walks into an imperfect world.
And that's really what this story leaves us chewing on, isn't it? Is the real journey about trying to find some perfect place to fit in? Or is it about accepting our own imperfections and realizing that acceptance is what allows us to truly start living? It really makes you think about where that search for external validation ends and where the real path of self-acceptance truly begins.